Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, middle of September. Middle of September because it is a transitional phase of warm to the cooler, and I'm more of a cooler weather person myself, so I appreciate the change. Today I was just thinking as I'm preparing to leave on a trip for a couple of days. I don't know, maybe I'll do a live while I'm there, but I'm heading to Washington, D.C. with a very small team from Eagle Mountain Bend here in Oregon, and we're the Kingdom Learning Branch representing that, and I'm gonna go do a project for another organization. So I was just thinking, most often it's best to teach about or talk about where you are in life, because you can really talk about the experience that you're having and you're going through. And I was thinking about the seasons of life that we all have to walk through, whether or not we like it or not. That is the trajectory of us as human beings. And some seasons are fun and full and really blossoming and positive, and other seasons are, they're kind of deserty and wildernessy, and they are not quite as comfortable, let me just say comfortable, as other seasons. And when I talk about like seasons, I think we all know what I'm talking about, just the things that we have to wade through. Maybe it's someone close to us passes away, and then we change and move into another season without them. And it changes us, and it changes the way that we do life. It could be just transition with our home. And that is one thing that I am in, along with my family right now, is the transitional phase of living and home. And it's really, really tough here in Bend because it's so expensive. And I think probably everybody is thinking the same thing. Like, it is expensive everywhere right now, but especially here. So we are just in this transitional phase, and I am very much not a nomad, and so it is difficult and tough for me to be walking through this. But on the whole flip side of things, I know that sometimes the Lord has us walk through the wilderness because He is really preparing us for something really, really good. And He is testing us to see if we're ready for that promotion that He has ready for us. I know sometimes we think about Jesus when He was taken into the wilderness or to the desert, and we think, well, the devil took Him there, and that isn't true. The Lord Father took Him there, took Jesus to that wilderness, and allowed Him to be tested thoroughly by the devil. So I thought that was a very interesting point, because I think a lot of times we think, well, it's whenever there's something that's happening to us that is tough, we always automatically think, well, this must be the devil, and maybe it's not. Maybe you're being tested by the Lord on purpose to see if you're ready to handle that next. So that is really where I am in the moment, and it's tough because it's tough to keep a positive mindset about, all the little annoying things that happen and that you have to adjust to constantly. I call myself Elastigirl most of the time in my life because I am not naturally bent to want to be pulled and surprised and everything else. It's really tough for me because I'm not that type of person that really enjoys a lot of adventure, and yet here I am living a life that oh well, shucks, I don't even know what's ahead, so really I think in the transitional phases into our different seasons of life, I think that it's easy for us to get caught up in looking into the second realm and just all the little pieces of stuff that are right in front of our face that we can tangibly touch, and it's so much harder to see and look into the third realm if you're not gifted that way, especially, and to have faith that everything is working out for the good, so managing my attitude through it all is not always easy, and I think probably most of us can concur with that. But we all have to walk through the different seasons of life, and it really is our responsibility to decide what we're going to how we're going to manage that with our attitudes, and how we're going to what we're going to do with that, because the Lord wastes nothing. He doesn't waste anything. And when we go through rough seasons, it is a place where we can learn to manage ourselves, yes, but also how can we package all of that up and what we're learning and help someone else, or help someone else that may be headed for the same thing, or what can we do with that where it is preserved, and for me, I think that I don't get super emotional about things, so I really feel like I have more ability to look at things in an observing way rather than really soak it in and become dramatized emotionally about it. So I know it's much easier for me to say some of these things to people that are definitely leaning more into the emotional side of things. So, but you know what? We all need each other to be able to help each other and point things out where we can't see them. So, my mother would tell me to stop saying so much. She probably will. That's okay. All right, Mom, you can tell me. You can stop saying so much. Yes, I still have a mother, and sometimes she says what she thinks. Oh, there it is again. So, yes, seasons of life. I can't stop saying it. You guys, I like to crack myself up. I have a very strange sense of humor, and I laugh about things that are probably not funny to 99.9% of the world, which I don't know if is a good thing if I consider myself a novelist. But speaking of novel, we will be signing people up for pre-readers on my next novel. It's coming out October 31st of all days. And appropriately, this novel is, I'll probably just do a separate live on this. And my 14-year-old just read the novel, and I had wanted her to read it a while ago, because then, if there was something in it that she's like, Mom, I don't know about this, or, I could adjust it, but we're past the adjustment phase now. So she did pre-read it, and I have not had a lot of people do this yet, so I was kind of like, ooh, are you gonna like it? And she really did. She's like, she gave me like a very minor criticism on something, and she thought it was great. So that made me feel really good, coming from a little Gen Zer. Although I don't know if I would give it to just any 14-year-old. I mean, this is a supernatural thriller. There's some pretty intense things in it. And if a 14-year-old is not up to speed on some things that do happen in the world, and they are not adjusting well to understanding the third realm and what we are living with, then I don't know that I would give it to a 14-year-old. So it is definitely a play off the first one. They can go together. Some of the main characters are also in the second one. So Deep Woods, and it's Deape Woods, 2 different words. You can find it on Amazon. It's also on Kindle, and if you read it, and I would love a review. I've had quite a few people read it. It's been out for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years now, I suppose. Maybe about 7 years. And it's got a lot of good feedback from it. But my husband and I started our own publishing company because we really don't want to go with a publisher that takes everything from you and makes you do all the work. So we started our own publishing company. So that is why you probably aren't seeing it in like Barnes and Noble and all of those places. And the first book is a story about an agnostic that she moves to a new place, and she rents an apartment from a couple that is heavily involved in the occult and all of the practices that go with it. And things start happening to her that she can't explain. And so she goes on a journey to figure out what is true, what is real, is she crazy? And that is the story. It's got some intense moments in that as well, but there are solutions to things in that first novel, and that's Deep Woods. That's Deape, and Amazon likes to pull up the spray Deep Woods whenever somebody's looking for it. So make sure you add probably my name with it. It is spelled a little differently, and the book name is actually the last name of some characters in the book. So that is why I named it that. It's kind of a double whammy because it is some deep woods. So I know a lot of you probably are familiar with Frank Peretti and his work and in the Christian world, and I don't think he is writing anymore, at least right now. So my work is a little bit heavier, much heavier, I would say, much more realistic. And I believe that we we in the Christian world need to stop burying our heads in the sand. We need to stop being afraid of the devil's imitations. He is not a creator, he imitates. And pulling from the energies that have not been removed from his army yet. So we need to quit acting like this stuff doesn't exist, because it does. It very much exists. It's very much alive and true, and I don't want any of us who call ourselves followers of Christ to think that it doesn't exist, and to also really be ignorant of Satan's devices largely. I think that there is a huge hopelessness in the world that people live in, that dabble with the occult, that live in the occult, that were raised in the occult, that are trapped there. And they need to know, like if you're watching this and you know what I'm talking about, or you're part of that, I mean, you need to know that there is a way out. There is a way out of that. Do never let the devil and the devils that are speaking through other human beings and being used by them tell you that you cannot come out of that. It will be a rough ride out of it, but you can do it. You absolutely can do it. And I just want to encourage anyone that is listening. This Deep Woods is for you. It's for anyone. It's for Christians, and it's for those that don't know the Lord yet. So the second one is called The Sound of Wings, and that's coming out very soon. And that one is a rescue operation. And like I said, a little bit more intense than the first one. And, I feel like the Lord has given me these stories before I wrote this first novel. I had not written any novels or even really short stories. The most I've done is journaling. And the Lord has just dropped into me the entire book. And the second one as well. And there probably will be a third one. And because I'm in the middle of life's transition, it's kind of been derailed just a little bit, but I know that I will pick it up and I will come back to it. And for now, I'm going to be working on other projects like music. I'm a musician, a prophetic musician as well. So I have a few albums, and I have one coming out. It's the third one. So I have a Christmas one and one that's coming out, and I missed some emails from our music company, and so it's been delayed. It was supposed to come out this weekend, and now it is not. It's going to be, I don't know, maybe another couple of weeks. But the music that I play is mostly all from whatever I feel like the Lord is telling me to play. And I've been playing piano for over 30 years. Started when I was about 10, I think. And I had taken some lessons for about 4 years, and it still can't read a bloomin' note. But I did not stop playing that instrument, and just the way some of us are wired. And I actually do participate with the worship band now. So if I know my chords, I can definitely, and I know the song, then I can do the music. So some of these classical pieces with a million notes, I guess somebody else is just going to have to play those, and that's fine, because there's plenty of people out there that can do that job. Not everybody can do what I do. So I'll do what I do, and they can do what they do. And that'll be great. So anyways, so yeah, back to, boy, I got really derailed there, didn't I? So back to the seasons of life, and hello to all of you guys that are watching this show. I guess it's a show. What do you call these things anyway? I don't know. I say a lot of silly things sometimes, so you'll just have to bear with me on that. I just want to encourage us all, including myself. So I'm speaking to myself because sometimes I just get super overwhelmed with the changes that happen with the seasons that show up, and none of us get out of them. None of us do. We all have to walk through them, and just really, I think doing our best to stay emotionally healthy is really important to handling our seasonal changes in our spiritual, emotional, and physical lives is really important. So I think that is probably the number one. Yeah, making sure our brain and our spirits are definitely lined up with what the Lord would have us think, and knowing what our identity is, and knowing who to draw from when we're feeling very dry and hopeless. And that is definitely it. So in our good, positive, healthy, fun seasons, we just we'll stay improving. Don't ever stop. I say don't ever stop growing. We never should stop growing emotionally and spiritually ever, because we will go backwards if we don't. If we stop. Okay? We say like, well, there's a medium sitting on the fence, or swimming in mediocrity, or that sort of thing. We say that we're like sitting there in a holding pattern, but we actually don't sit there for very long. We're actually making a choice on if we're growing or if we're not growing. And if we're not growing, it's not going to be very long before we're going backwards, and we're going to start suffering largely in our minds and our spirits. And so I just think that in the good times, we stock it up and store it up, and we just inhale it and get fat off of it. And then when those lean times hit, we can use the fat reserves that we've stored, just like in Egypt when they stored up 7 years, then we can use all of that good stuff that we stored up in the good times to help us through the lean times. And along with, hopefully we've got people around us that are encouraging us somehow and giving us hope. But if you don't have that, and you don't know how to get it, or I know, because I say that because there's been a lot of years of my life where I didn't have a lot of people around me that were able to help encourage me, or even knew or recognized where I was at. And so it was much, much, much tougher. But we do have so much more ability now than we did even just 10, 15 years ago, to tap into people we don't even know. Like, you don't know me. And I'm talking to you right now about, being hopeful and staying hopeful. So we can all hear messages from the Lord through people we don't even know. And that is important for us to really understand that, when we ask the Lord to help us or to send us messages, He will do that. And we just need to be watching for that and really staying in tune to what He is saying. He has a very humorous way of doing things. And I know, He knows exactly how to talk to us. Exactly. And you're not too small or insignificant for the God of the universe to care about or to find when you need help and you need hope. So it is out there. Just ask for it. And sometimes when we're feeling too sick to actually ask, then He also knows that. And He also will send messages to us and speak to us through so many different ways if we're willing to hear and we're willing to listen and we're hungry enough to listen. So don't ever think that He won't speak to you or doesn't speak to you. Most of the time it's on our end when we can't hear Him. Okay? I would say, yes, that is what I would say. So, all right. Well, I probably should get off because I have a bunch of packing and stuff to do still today, and a bunch of other stuff. So I hope that you guys are encouraged and stay steady in your season wherever you are, because it's always a season, it seems to be. And God bless you all, and we'll talk again soon. All right. Bye.